Okay, so I'm here with Mahmoud, director of Tango With Me. And the first thing I would like to know is just about your film, if you could tell me about your film.
Well, Tango With Me is the usual love story that people are used to. It's a young couple that faced adversity on the eve of their wedding. You know, one of them was abused, and the consequences of that abuse is what this film is all about.
Okay. And what was it about this particular story that was so appealing for you that you felt like you wanted to produce a film about it?
Yeah, it's because I'm actually fascinated by the fact that, you see, the way the story was written, right, is such that it treated the subject matter in a way we are not accustomed to.
Yeah.
We're not used to. And particularly from the woman's perspective. You know, when such things happen, it's usually treated as something that should not be discussed. And we just push it into the closet. But in this case, I tried as a director to bring it out to the fore for people to talk openly about it, and then people start talking about it from there on.
Yeah.
You know.
It's
the issue of woman abuse, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Kind of opening the door for people to have a greater discussion about.
A debate on it.
Yeah.
Right, on such issues.
Trying to open people's eyes about it.
Yeah. It's about rape. You know. I mean, I'll make it clear.
Yeah.
And rape in our society is something that you don't discuss openly. You don't bring to the front burner. And in this case, I made people to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you describe Tango With Me as a typical Nollywood film, or do you think it stands out as breaking the mould?
I wouldn't describe Tango With Me as a typical Nollywood movie. No, I would not. It's a breakout movie, so to speak, in the way the story is written, in the way it was produced, in the way it's even been marketed. It's a movie that I put together to change the perception about what we produce in Nollywood. I'm a trained filmmaker, and I try to put all the elements, production values that are required for a good movie in this, so that people would know that, look, beyond what they've seen in the past that have broken grounds, there are more serious filmmakers in Nigeria that can make a difference and will be taken more seriously.
Yeah. Do you feel that England and other Western influential film producing countries, that there is a stigma attached to films coming out of Africa?
Yeah, in a way, yes. You see, because particularly from Nigeria, some kind of stigma, no doubt. And from Africa also, generally, some level of stigma. But it's beginning to change. Films like this are beginning to change that, in the sense that we are putting those values, those cinematic values, that, so to speak, the standard Western films or European films are. Yeah. We're beginning to infuse them into our movies. And more so, our stories are getting more well-written and better produced. Yeah. So this is breaking new grounds and making people, and will make people to really appreciate the stories coming from Africa.
Do you feel that the film will do what has proved difficult for many African films and gain serious recognition in Western culture?
Well, that's my hope. That's my hope, really. But Western culture, I really don't do my films for the West. Yeah. Right. It's for white people. I do a typically Nigerian film that will be accepted by those in diaspora. Yeah. And blacks all over the world. Yeah. Right. So the West, well, if they seem the subject matter is quite universal, and if they tend to appreciate what we do or what I do, all well and good, but the appreciation is not really an issue for me. Yeah. What matters to me is for my people to appreciate what I do.
So you're really targeting African, predominantly black audience?
Predominantly black audience, yes.
Because you feel it would be more appealing?
Because it's issues, I mean, some of the values that the film is trying to bring out, trying to talk about, are values that we are beginning, as Africans, we are beginning to neglect or take for granted because of the Western ways of life that we're beginning to adapt or adopt ourselves to, adapt ourselves to, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a movie for our people, right?
Yeah.
So it's talking about us, how we react to such situations. So the typical European or Westerner, they may not find any big deal in some of those issues, and they're big deals to all.
So would you say
African culture?
Yeah. So would you say you're trying to re-establish with people of African origin?
Oh, definitely. You see, like I said, our tradition, we're beginning to lose. Let's take, for instance, the sanctity of marriage.
Yeah.
Right? In the West, even though there's this one man, one wife notion, and in any little situation, they're divorced.
Yeah.
Right? That's not our culture. Right? But our people are beginning to imbibe that lifestyle. This movie is talking about a situation where you need to discuss. You need to talk about this. People need to intervene. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we move forward. And within the West also, religion, our faith, their faith is no more sacrosanct in what they do. Whereas to some of us, faith is critical to our existence. And you find some of these critical issues in the movie discussed. So it's really not, it's really a movie that is trying to begin to explore, ask questions of people of what they are doing of these values today.
So what have you done to promote your film in the UK? Because you're here now. So.
Well, I'm here now. I'm talking to you, and I'm hoping that this gets spread to everywhere. But in terms of promotion, I think it's being handled essentially by the distribution company. I'm just here to lend them support.
Yeah.
You know, so the distribution company is doing a good job by getting the channels, getting support here and there from the media, and I believe they've handled such things before, and they'll do something better this time because they have a good product.
How do you fund your films? Do you kind of put the funds together yourself, or do you have some investors?
Yeah, you see, in Nigeria, you know, funding is an issue. If you don't have money to fund your film, forget it. So this essentially I funded myself, right? But the situation is changing. The structures are being put in place to address this issue of funding, right? But for this film, I funded myself with support from friends here and there. But essentially, no structured funding.
You just got together the money you could and made your film.
Exactly, right.
Okay.
Institutional funding like you have in here and in Hollywood or other advanced environments for filmmaking. We don't have that structured
doesn't
funding.
exist,
No institutional funding. Funding comes from you. And that's why you get to make money from your movie. If you don't make money from your movie, you're a dead businessman.
Yeah.
You know. So we try to combine the show and the business.
Any other next film projects planned?
Yeah, well, I'm still working on this. I'm still trying to make my money back. So it's trickling in. You know, I mean, it did well in Nigeria. So I'm hoping that it will do well through Talking Drum as my distribution company. The next project, yes, I have some works in the pipeline, but I still need to be done with this first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for talking with me today. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome.